Okay, so let's take a look at John 4:23, and let's just look here at Jesus' statement that we want to really unpack and examine and really figure out what this looks like practically. That's my goal. What does it practically look like to worship in spirit? But let's just start off reading. He's talking to the woman at the well here, and he says this, "But an hour is coming." In other words, a season or an era where the reality of the way things will work, okay? An hour is coming, and look, it's now present. It now is when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. For such people, the Father seeks to be his worshipers. Now, I don't know about you, but if the Father seeks these kind of worshipers, I want to be one. So I need to know a little bit more about what it looks like to worship in spirit. Now, in this video, we're going to unpack at least one dynamic. I am not claiming that this one dynamic we unpack is the totality of what it means to worship in spirit, but rather I think it's a central element and a very good foundation to build off. Let's go to Romans 12, verse 1. "Therefore I urge you, brethren, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living and holy sacrifice, acceptable to God, which is your spiritual service of worship." Your spiritual worship. Watch this. Let's read it again. First, I want to know, by the mercies of God, okay, that's super important. By the mercies of God, to present what? Our bodies as living and holy sacrifice. A living and holy sacrifice. Incredibly, incredibly important. This living and this holy sacrifice is acceptable to God, okay? But it's acceptable to God because it's worshiping in spirit. That's why it's acceptable to God, okay? So what does this mean? First, we just saw Paul answer for us what it looks like to worship in spirit. It's to present our bodies, this life now, okay? That's super important. Christianity is not limited down to what happens after we die. Eternity begins now, right? In this life now, our bodies, okay? In this body, we should present it a living sacrifice, okay? What does that mean? And then a holy sacrifice. What does that mean? Okay? So as a living sacrifice, I think a great way of saying this for both of these, living and holy. One, a living sacrifice just means what I said earlier. It doesn't start after you die, right? It's not like we're in this fallen, corrupt world now and we accepted Jesus, and so we're kind of just doing our time until we die and get made perfect, right? No, like the transformation process starts while we're living. And so, one, the sacrifice happens while we're still alive in this life now, but it's a holy sacrifice, okay? And this speaks to holy, and sacrifice means essentially the message of Jesus. Take up your cross and deny yourself daily, okay? So it's crucifying the old nature, the human nature that we were born into in corruption and sin, and putting on a new holy nature that looks like God himself. Like Jesus was our model, and he displayed it for us, okay? So it's the denying of our flesh and putting away of the things that don't look like Jesus. They are not the culture of our kingdom, and they're not the character of our Father, okay? And so doing that now in this body while we are living is worshiping in spirit. How cool is that? Now I want to draw our attention just a little bit earlier on into chapter 11, verse 36, because I think it paints a beautiful picture for us that I kind of want to conclude on. It says this, "For from him, Christ, and through him, and to him," I really want to focus on that, to him are like some things, a few things, all things, all things. All things To him be the glory forever. To him be the glory. So all things are to him for his glory. Now, how does this correlate with what we just read down here? My body and my life are a part of all things that are to him and for his glory. So if my life is his inheritance, why wouldn't I want to become all that he died for me to become? I mean, every ounce of it, I want it. That to be that pure and spotless bride that he died for, right? And so this is what Paul is saying is like, in this life now, worship spiritually by presenting your bodies as a living and holy sacrifice today. I don't know about you. I just thought that was the coolest thing in the world. And I strive and I long very deeply to implement this into my life. I feel a long ways from being the man I want to be and resembling Christ to the level that I want to and walking in the maturity that I want to walk in. But this scripture just reminds me, and if I keep it in front of me, just reminding myself daily, no, I am his inheritance. I am his inheritance. Present my body as a living and holy sacrifice. That's what I long for, and that's what I desire. So I hope that this video has been helpful for you. I hope that it's been practical and that you can take it and apply it to your life. Until next time, God bless.